Hi, and welcome to another video by Get It Done Home Repairs. Today's project, we're going to be installing recessed lighting in the ceiling that never had recessed lighting before. So these are examples of what kind of tools we're going to need to get the job started. First off, of course, you're going to need whatever light you're going to use, and you'll need to have a template or a size pattern so you know how big of a hole you're going to be drilling in the ceiling. In this particular case, it came with a template inside the box. That's the size hole we need to do, is 6.3 inches. You're going to need a drill with a drill bit. You're going to need some pliers to cut and strip insulation on wires. We're going to need a utility knife, screwdriver, flashlight, a stud locator, and this is what I'm using to cut the ceiling out so that we have a fairly nice round hole. You can use a hole saw for sheetrock if you have it, but this makes the job go a lot easier, and it's a lot less dust because when you use it, it's actually contained like this. So while you're cutting, all of the dust is falling down inside here, and it's being held in here versus going all over the room. They're fairly inexpensive. There's lots of different brands out there, but look into that. We know the size of the hole that we have to cut, so I did set these teeth here to the location of where I needed. I needed 6.3 inches, which is what I made this. It's actually slightly smaller because I like it to fit nice and tight into the opening. But this is all set right now. So first thing we're going to do now, before we do anything, we're going to put our mask on because you're going to wind up getting some of the dust on you. And we are going to be going in the attic, so you don't want to be breathing insulation because you will be coughing like crazy. And the last thing you're going to need something like this, a piece of wire or anything. Because after we drill the hole in the ceiling, this very small hole here, which is only about 1/8 of an inch, before we open up the hole in the ceiling this big, the 6-inch opening, we're going to take the wire, we're going to put the wire in the hole here, and we're going to go up in the attic to make sure that we have sufficient room for this piece to fit without interfering with one of the beams up in the ceiling, and that's what this is all about. All right, so enough talking. Let's get up here, let's drill this hole, and let's get started. Okay, so now we have our location of where we want to put the hole in the ceiling to put the new fixture in there. But before you drill a hole in the ceiling only to find out that there's a beam up in the ceiling up here, you want to get in here and you want to take what's called a stud finder, such as this, put it on the ceiling here, turn it on, and you move it, and you can see right there is where there's a stud, or a beam I should say. There it's not. So we're going to now move it this way. And now we know the stud or beam is right here. So we know that there's sufficient room from this point to that point for the new light fixture to fit. All right, so now we're going to get in here. We're going to drill a small little pilot hole exactly where we wanted it, right here. And we're just going to drill very low. All right, now we'll take this out. We'll take this down, okay, and then we'll take our small piece of wire, like this, put it up here, and you push it up, and now you can feel it hitting the insulation up in the attic. So I'm going to go up into the attic while my assistant pushes this up, so that way we can pinpoint exactly in the attic where we are actually going to make our drill our hole for the new light fixture. All right, so let me go upstairs in the attic. I'm going to take you along and I'll show you what's up there. Okay, now I know it's going to be a little hard to hear me because I got this mask on, but you don't want to be breathing the insulation from this here. It will start making you choke a little bit, so make sure you wear a mask. Now we're up in the attic, and as you can see, we had to remove a piece of plywood that was covering the area where I think it's going to be. So now I'm going to have my assistant poke that piece of wire through, and we're going to see where it actually is located. I got a feeling it's going to be right here, because I did put that one back in there already, and one behind me as well. So now let's take a look and see. Okay, we did push up and down on it. Okay. Okay, thank you. Take it down. And as you can see now, we have the hole drilled right through here. And we know that the light fixture was actually 6.3 inches. So from the center hole here, we need to have at least 3 inches this way and at least 3 inches this way so we do not interfere with any kind of beams. And as you can see, we have plenty of room right here. Okay? We have at least probably 5 inches right here, so we're good. All right, so now we're going to go downstairs and we're going to drill this hole out, and then we'll continue. Okay, now for now we're just going to put a staple right in this wire right here to hold it in place. Now when you put these in here, you do not hit them till it holds the wire tight. It's just to keep it in place. It's not to pinch the wire at all. All right, so we're going to put this right here for now, and then we're going to go down, we're going to drill that hole, and then we'll cut off the excess, and we'll finish it up right there. All right, so let me go down, and we're going to cut that hole in the ceiling. So now this is our hole that we drilled, and you saw up the top what it looked like. This is the tool here that's going to go on there, and this little piece right here is going to catch all of the dust and the filings that come off of there, and these little teeth right here are going to cut the hole in the ceiling. Now when you're using this, you're going to use it at a slow speed. You don't want to use it too high, because if you're using it at a high speed and it catches, it's going to walk along the ceiling and it's going to destroy the sheetrock that you're working on. So we're going to go in here nice and slow, and we're going to go very easy. Now when you're about halfway through, you want to go real slow, because you don't want the drill or the bit go through very hard and destroy the edges. So nice and easy. And there you go. You can see it's a nice perfect hole cut in the sheetrock. And this is where our fixture is going to go. So we have the hole cut in the ceiling. We have our wire that we just previously ran up on the top right there. We're going to take the wire down here, and we're going to pull it through so we can work with it down here. Now obviously we don't need all this wire, so we're just going to cut off what we don't need. We'll leave us a nice length like that. Take a utility knife, just cut the insulation on the outside and take it apart and separate it, just like this. Okay, and that leaves us the 3 wires now that we're going to connect. All right, so we're going to strip off a little bit of the insulation on here, and we're going to use our strippers. Okay. Next thing we're going to do is we're going to grab our light fixture, and we're going to attach these wires on there. Now we opened up the cover on the back, and we're going to take our wires out. This is our ground, this is our hot wire, and this is our neutral. We're just going to connect white to white, black to black, and the green is going to connect up to the one that's just copper with no insulation on it whatsoever. All right, now first thing we're going to do is we're going to come up underneath here, and we're going to take out that little plug right there, just like that. Just push it. Take it out, and then this is then trash. We're going to take this small little insulator here, we're going to put it in here just like that, and I will take these wires, we're going to put them all together, and we're going to push them right through here. And we're going to push it through until this insulation part here gets stuck in that plastic little boot. Right like that. Okay, you want to push it so that the insulated part is sticking through here, because now it allows it to come through, but you cannot pull it back out. Okay, so we're going to take our wires now, white, black, and remember this one here is our ground. So we're going to take our white one, and we're going to wrap it around here, just like this. We screw our wire nut on like this. Screw it down until it's tight. And now make sure that your wire is in there nice and tight. So you tug the two white ones to make sure it's tight, because I've seen it many times where you screw this down, it's tight on one, but the other is not in there. So this is nice and tight. We're going to take this, and we're going to push this down, and we're going to recess it down here, out of the way. Just like that. And now we'll take our black wire, put our black wire together with our other black wire, just twist them a little bit, and then we'll put our wire nut on the top of it. You pinch the wires with your one hand, and you turn the nut on with the other, and again, make sure it's nice and tight, which it is. Then we're going to recess this one down and out of the way as well. Just like that. And last, we're going to take our ground wire, and we're going to connect our ground up on here as well. And we're going to use our wire nut again. Make sure they're tight. And then we're going to recess this one back inside here as well, just like that. And then we'll put our cover back on here. Okay, and then this is done. We're going to put a wire up in the ceiling, put these two clips up like this. One clip in here. And then we're going to put our other clip up over here, just like that. And that's it. All right, so this is done here. Now after the one light is in the ceiling, we need to actually have one light jump over to the next light. So we push the wire through the next opening that we previously cut into the ceiling, and now we take the wires and we strip back all of the insulation as we did in the previous light fixture. We're going to pop out these little plastic tabs in the fixture itself. We're going to insert those new pieces that we have that secure the wires in place. We'll push the wires that we stripped down back inside the fixture itself. Remember, you want that rubber to stick inside so it doesn't pull back out. And we'll just shove everything through there. Once that's in, we'll grab the next set of wires and we'll push those wires in as well. Okay, next thing we're going to do is we're going to take all of the black wires and we're going to tie them together. You'll have 3 black wires, so we're going to tie all 3 together. We're going to grab a pair of pliers, twist everything. Then we're going to put a wire nut over the top of it to secure everything in place. Once the wire nut's on, we're going to grab the wires. We're going to pull them back and forth just to make sure that they don't come out, that they're nice and tight. And then we're going to proceed over to the white wires. We're going to do the exact same thing with the white wires as well. All right, so we're nice and tight on the black. Push it inside, get it out of the way. Grab our white wires and we'll twist those wires together as well. We're going to grab our wire nut. After we twist the wires together, we'll put our wire nut over the top of it and we'll secure that white wires, all 3 of the white wires together. After you put that cap on, make sure you grab the wires and you give them a tug to make sure that all 3 of the wires are nice and tight underneath there. And the last thing we're going to do is we're going to take our ground wires and we're going to secure all our ground wires together with the 3 rubber, wrapping them together, put a wire nut over it, and then we're going to recess everything in the box itself on the light and then we're going to put the cover back on the light fixture itself. You want to take your time and make sure that everything is exactly right. Screw your wire nut over the top nice and tight. Push your wires inside the box in the opening that's made for it. Once you have everything pushed in as far as it can go, we take our cover, slide the cover over the top. Snaps in place. Then we take our new light fixture, put it up in the ceiling, push up on the tabs that secure it into the ceiling, and make sure it snaps in place. And then we'll continue with the other two, and we'll get this job wrapped up. So now we have our light fixture in. You can see it's nice and tight inside here. Last thing we're going to do is we're going to put a staple right in here. You want to check with your local building codes to make sure what your requirements are. But we're going to put another staple right here just to hold this in place. Okay, the last thing we're going to do, push our insulation back down to where it was, like this, and that's it. This job is now done. We put our 4 lights in the ceiling. We've wired all the lights in. Next thing we're going to do, obviously, is we're going to put our wood back over the top here so that this is covered up, and that's it. Now I'm going to explain to you how we made the measurements so we knew exactly where to make the holes in here.